Hello, Gary Stearman. Time for another commentary from Prophecy Watchers on this 22nd day of March in the year 2016, a very fateful day. And we're very fortunate to have in studio with us today Avi Lipkin from Jerusalem, Israel. Avi, welcome to Prophecy Watchers.
Good always to be with you guys.
You know, we are fortunate to have you with us today because I want you to comment on the events in Brussels, Belgium. Just hours ago, there were a couple of terrorist attacks that seem to have been timed to occur together. And by now, ISIS has already claimed that they did it. So tell us, in your opinion, what this means to Europe, what it means in terms of the overall Middle Eastern situation.
Okay, well, yes, definitely a fateful day. Brussels is the capital of the European Union. Brussels, if you will, is the Washington, D.C. of Europe. This was an attack. Had it been carried out in the United States, it would have been an attack on Washington, D.C. Three subway stations were attacked, 3 metro stations. One of them was at the Parliament. 8 in the morning. This is rush hour.
Yes.
So all the parliamentary assistants, all the people who work in the Parliament, were at that place at that time. They were on the train or getting onto the train, getting off the train. Of course, the airport, many people died. This is the current count is 31 dead. Now, there is a suspicion that one of the bombs at the airport went off inside of a suitcase at counter number 8. Counter number 8 is American Airlines. So this is an attack on America too.
Wow.
And one of the things I wanted to share with you, I live in Israel.
Yes.
And when I get to Israel, and I'm going to look at the camera to say this, when you get out of your car at the airport in Tel Aviv, you are already being observed. The Israeli security is out there watching you, and their cameras are out there watching you. And when you approach the door to go into the terminal, there are guards at the door checking each and every person going into the terminal. Then you go through security before you get on the plane. But in Europe and in the United States, this is a tremendous Achilles heel, meaning you get out of the car, you could have a machine gun inside of your suitcase, pull it out, and just start shooting everybody outside the terminal. Or you could go into the terminal, go up to the counter, pull out your machine gun, and kill everybody inside of the terminal. In other words, you haven't even reached the security yet for boarding the plane. So El Al, or shall I say Ben Gurion Airport, has very, very strict observation points before you even go into the terminal. This was not there in Belgium. And many times, I have to tell you, it takes a thief to know a thief. I'm from the Middle East, so I'm a thief. When I board local flights in the United States to fly from anywhere in the United States to anywhere in the United States, I'm always looking around and say, I just came in off the street. Usually it's, my Christian friends bring me to the airport, get into the terminal, check in at the counter, and there are hundreds of people standing around me.
Yes.
And I could have gone in with a machine gun and killed 100 people. So how many people were involved in the Belgium attacks? Probably a half dozen, making the bombs, taking the bombs. There were some suicide bombers. Killing 20, 30 people in Belgium is not so serious. It could have been hundreds, it could have been thousands. What is serious is the potential for where attacks like this could go. And the same with America. The airports are open targets. I'll tell you another thing. When you're in Israel, and I'm sure you remember when we were in Israel, you go into a mall. They check you before you go into the mall for guns. If you drive into a parking area inside the mall or inside of some major building complex, you have to open up your trunk. They check your trunk. They check your car. They ask you, do you have weapons? They look at you. If you look like a terrorist, immediately they call the police. So Israel's very strict about this. Here in America, nothing.
Now, ISIS has claimed credit. They're standing up proudly and saying, we did it, and probably we'll do it again. And the next time we do it, you won't be able to stop us. That's their whole attitude.
They're right.
And now, where's ISIS coming from? Where did they come from? How did they come together? Where are they going?
Yes. Well, firstly, the attack This morning, ISIS says they did it because of the massive bombing in Mosul. Now, you have the city in Iraq, which is basically the capital of ISIS in Iraq, Mosul. And the Iraqi national forces, which are primarily Shiite, with some help from the Kurds, who are coming in to help out the federal government, the Shiite government. And so there's massive bombing. The British, the French are bombing Mosul. You know, the Russians stopped bombing, but the Russians did a lot of bombing. The Russians are going to get targeted inside of Russia by the Chechens and other Muslim groups that are inside of Russia. Now, in Europe, you remember the boat people from Libya.
Yes.
So the Italian Navy, in a humanitarian gesture, as soon as they leave the 12-mile international limits, the Italian Navy, in a humanitarian gesture, picks up these refugees, takes them to Italy, and they're home. So what does ISIS say? They say, these stupid Italians, we send 4,000 vanguard troops to Rome. We're going to take Rome, we're going to kill the Pope, we're going to blow up the Vatican, and Rome is going to become part of the caliphate. And of course, the Europeans, who are post-Christian and don't believe anymore in the possibility of a war taking place, say, oh, no, this is just a group of terrorists, and, you know. Okay, now think for a moment. Let's say only 1% of the Muslims in France are terrorists. What's 1% of 5 million? 50,000. You know what? Let's say it's 99.99% of the Muslims in France are good people, which they're not, but let's say they are. So what's 1% of 50,000? It's 500. 19 terrorists brought down the World Trade Center, hijacked 4 planes. So praise God, the security is up regarding boarding a plane.
Yes.
Though, I don't know if you know this or not, but a lot of the food suppliers, purveyors of food for the airlines, the maintenance of the planes, these are Muslim people working inside of the planes. So only God knows what they're putting onto the planes. But the easy, soft targets are the subways and, of course, the airport, because they can go and kill anybody they want, and nobody's paying attention. And it's not nice to profile.
In America, it's not nice to
In
profile.
Israel, we absolutely profile. That's why we don't have these problems.
The first time I went to Israel, a long time ago, decades ago, I was so impressed with El Al because of the way they profile people. They have young men and women who greet you and meet you and talk to you. Where are you going to Israel? What are you going to be doing? Well, I'm a tourist. They talk to you, and they're very pleasant and very loquacious and very comforting and welcoming, but they're profiling you.
Yeah.
At the same time, and
Right.
I felt so good because I didn't have anything to hide.
Yes.
And they welcomed me with open arms even while they were profiling me, and that to me is the way to do it.
Very correct. I have to add something, and this is in my first book, Is Fanatic Islam a Global Threat? There's a story about an Irish woman who worked as a cleaning lady in a hotel in London. And there she met a Palestinian Muslim, I don't want to say gentleman, he wasn't a gentleman, he was a terrorist, but they had a romantic affair. She was already 8 months pregnant with this Palestinian guy's baby. And he said to her, you have to go to Palestine, to Ramallah, to meet my parents so that they may accept you, and then we can get married. What does she want? She's 8 months pregnant. She wants to get married to this guy. So she goes to Heathrow Airport, and the Israeli El Al security says, oh, we see you're pregnant. Where are you going? I'm going to Ramallah, to meet my future intended in-laws. I said, well, where's your husband? Oh, we're not married yet. He's back at the hotel working. And you're going alone. And she's 8 months pregnant. Did he give you anything to take to Israel? That's what they ask you in the profiling questions. Sure. And they found a clock bomb, altitude bomb, set to go off at 20,000 feet. He was going to blow up his bride-to-be, which is maybe not a big deal for him, his own baby. Anything is acceptable to bring down an El Al plane. But the problem is, El Al learned from this. That's why they're so tough with the screening. And they always talk to me about Nizar Hindawi, who almost killed his own wife and everything, his wife-to-be. So America really needs to profile. Yes. Either you profile or you're going to lose people, and then your economy goes down.
What do you think in the next 2 or 3 minutes? We're running out of time here, but what do you think is the immediate goal of ISIS. Now, chaos is a naturally occurring answer to that question. But beyond creating chaos, what are they doing?
Well, how do you destroy Christianity? You destroy Christianity by chaos. You destroy Christianity by bringing down the world economy. How do you bring down the world economy? You stop people from flying. You cause people to lock themselves up in their homes, to be afraid to go out. People spend less, they travel less. Disney World shuts down. I'm just saying Disney World to anything involving tourism.
I understand.
And now, of course, in our big program that we're going to do pretty soon, I'm going to talk about how the Saudis are what I call evolutionary, meaning we will take over America through our money and our investments and our oil and our political power, peaceful takeover of America. Mm-hmm. ISIS says, no way, that's wrong. That's collaborating with the enemy. America has to be destroyed. Brussels has to be destroyed. Europe has to be destroyed. Anything Christian has to be destroyed. The king of Saudi Arabia is wrong. He's a collaborator, and he's a traitor and a heretic and an infidel. By working with the Christians, we're going to kill him, we're going to kill the Christians, we're going to kill everybody so that Allah is supreme.
You opened a few minutes ago by saying that Brussels is sort of the Washington, D.C. of Europe. Of course, the European Parliament is there. But
NATO is there too.
And NATO, and I'm thinking to myself as you're talking, if they attacked that Washington, D.C., how long before they attack our Washington, D.C.?
It's on the way. They did it already on 9/11 when one of the planes was supposed to hit the Pentagon. Another plane was supposed to hit the White House or the Capitol building, yes, and then went off to Pennsylvania. And they're here. And they've come in legally. They've come in by plane illegally, and they go to the end of the runway and they're given money and they're bussed over to other states and other areas. They're here already. That's, of course, in addition to the illegals coming across the physical borders of Mexico and Canada.
You know, as a Christian, I have to say that these are the battles of the end times, as prophesied in the Bible. And Avi, being a longtime resident of Israel, a Jew himself, a Jew with political aspirations, Avi wants the best for Israel, and he wants the best for the United States of America. And we're sitting here, and I think we're watching prophecy being fulfilled before our very eyes. I really have that feeling.
You know, when I did shows with you in 1995, I said they're going to destroy your aircraft, they're going to destroy your buildings, they're going to do all these kind of horrible, terrible things. And it's been happening, with different places in the United States and in Europe. It's been happening.
Well, I can only conclude by thanking Avi Lipkin for being with us today. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for the peace of the United States of America.
Amen.
Wow, we're in those times. Blessings to all of you. Stay with us. Keep watching. We are. Thanks for joining us on Prophecy Watchers. You can find us on the web at prophecywatchers.com, where you can sign up for our free email newsletter, or follow us at facebook.com/prophecywatchers. In the meantime, keep watching, everybody, and we'll see you soon.